Hey there guys, and welcome back. Gonna be going over the Nilfgaard starter deck today, which is actually one of the best but most challenging and like one that more experienced players have the best time with, because does actually have some really good cards and stuff. But we'll go over it, and of course always make sure that if you're a new player you've done all these challenges first, because these will give you access to more leaders, more kegs and stuff, and get you level 10, which is pretty important if you do all these. It does take a minute, but having these extra leaders helps out a lot. And then you'll also have access to ranked, which sounds ridiculous, like why would I want to go into ranked right away? But you're probably going to have an easier time in ranked than you are in normal mode, because casual match can match you against anybody. It can be a grandmaster with a perfect deck, it won't matter. But in ranked match you're going to fight people who are more your level usually, and at least as you climb up, and then you'll get more rewards that way to build a better deck. And actually, let's go, rank up. See, as you rank up you can get like a keg, 2 kegs, and then at the end of every month, depending on where your rank is, you also get these rewards over here, which will give you more kegs and more options. It's pretty easy to get up to like rank 13, 14 with a starter deck, because you win more points when you win than you lose when you lose, and it's actually by like a decent amount. Like you'll win like 30 points and you'll only lose like 5. So definitely go into ranked is one of the things I want to tell you about before we go into the actual deck builder here, and we talk about the Nilfgaard starter deck. Now the Nilfgaard starter deck is really good, but just one thing to change about it, of course, take out Commander's Horn, because that card's too hard to set up, well, more risky to set up. You need 5 JC units, doesn't give you much, and put in Vader Maker that they start you with, because he will give you Elzer's Thunder, which deals 9 damage. It's pretty important because this will remove things that are annoying from your opponent, and it only 13 power seems like, but actually having the 9 damage paying matters, which is why I suggest keeping in Mana Core Venom. But this is the Nilfgaard starter deck, if you just replace that. And the reason why this deck is so great is because they give you a couple good combos. They give you the Ranfran of Atri, who plays a bronze or silver spying unit from your deck. This can be your Cantarella, which we'll get into that in a minute. Then, or Joam de Witt, who will play the top non-spying bronze or silver unit from your deck and boost it by 10. Now if a unit is spying, it goes on the enemy side, so remember that. Like, you're going to be giving them a 5 power card, yes, but you're going to be playing the top card from your deck and it's going to get plus 10 on it. So you technically get more value than you gave your opponent. Or you can grab one of these emissaries, which look at 2 random bronze units from your deck, then play 1. You give them a 2 power unit, you look at 2 random bronze units from your deck and you get to play 1. Pretty explanatory. And then they got these guys that interact with the spying tokens. Like, they deal 3 damage to an enemy, but if the enemy is spying, you get to do 6 damage instead. So a little bit extra value there if you're hitting a spying enemy. Now the reason why this is one of the best decks to start with, but is also a very hard deck to get used to, is because they start you with your disloyal unit, Cantarella, in this deck. No other starter deck starts you with your disloyal unit, and I highly suggest getting them for every faction, because these are one of the most important cards in the game right now, and have been for a while. Basically, it goes on the opponent's side, and you basically get to draw a card, but you single use, draw 2 cards, keep one to move the other to your bottom of your deck. So you look at the top 2 cards, choose one to put in your hand, the other one goes to the bottom of your deck. Now you had to give your opponent a 13 power card and play something that didn't give you any power to do this, and most people get confused about when to play this, because why would you want to give your opponent a 13 power card just to draw a card? Well, there is no way to draw cards in Gwent besides the end of rounds, so getting card advantage is with one of these is how you use it. If you win round 1, your opponent has to play round 2 as long as you want to in most cases, or else they're just going to get 2-0'd and then they lose the game. So if you win round 1 and you play this on round 2, you get to draw a card, technically passing your turn and giving them a 13 power card, and then they have to keep playing. So in the next round you're going to have more cards than them, which is why these cards are so good, and knowing when to play them is very important, but also can be really tricky. So that's why this deck is, in my opinion, one of the hardest decks to run. But let's get into the rest of it. We got Recon. Look at 2 random bronze units in your deck, then play one. This can grab you any of these units right here: the Infiltrator, the Death Wish Albarist, the Combat Engineer, one of your Elbow Pikemen, or the Emissary. Now, the one Infiltrator can be really good if they have something that's like higher than 6 power, because it makes an enemy unit spying. So then your Death Wish, Deathwind Arbalist will hit it for 6 damage instead of 3, giving you a little bit more extra value there. Emissary, look at 2 random bronze units in your deck and play one. Goes on the opponent's side, they get 2 power and you get to play a bronze unit. Kinda harder to make this card work because it does technically lose you 2 points of value without cards like the Imperial Enforcers or the Imperial Brigade, because every time you play a spying unit this guy will buff by 2, and every time you play a spying unit this guy will do 2 damage, which kind of negates out the Emissary value that you're giving them, but it works alright in the starter deck. Then we got our 3 power units that every starter deck starts you with. This one's the Elbow Pikeman. Summon all copies of this unit to this row. This card, you want to only have one of these in your hand, and then you play it and you thin your deck by 2 and you get 9 points. It's not too bad, but it's not the greatest, and Nilfgaard doesn't really have a way to interact with it. That's why I suggest taking out these guys if you have 3 bronzes that are any good first, or the Combat Engineers, which we'll get into them next. They boost an ally by 5. They're basically an 11 power card. It's not too bad, and it has crew, which is pointless in Nilfgaard right now. But they're not the greatest. So I mean, if you pull something like a Vic Cavaro Medic, then definitely replace either one of these with them. Make sure that you replace all 3 Elbow Pikemen if you're going to replace one though, because you don't want to just be running 2 Elbow Pikemen, because then you got a 6 power card and that's even worse. And the Vic Cavaro Medic can resurrect a bronze unit from your opponent's graveyard. This can be very useful, because if they have any good bronze units or a unit that they buffed in their graveyard that's bronze, you can get it onto your field and take it out of their graveyard. The Slave Driver is also another good option. You get to make a random bronze unit from your deck, so basically you get one of their cards and you add a point onto it. So he's another good choice for this type of deck. Also, the Nausicaa Brigade can be really good because he deals 7 damage to his spying unit. Now if you kill the spying unit, he also strengthens himself by 4, so then he's a 9 power card. And that if things work out perfectly, like you hit a 7 power unit with your Infiltrator, then you play the Nausicaa Brigade and kill it, then you just got a 16 value bronze card. So this guy can be really good in the deck in certain situations, so that's another option for you to go with. And Slave Hunter can be not too bad, just if you pull it, don't go crafting it, and the Rot Tosser is alright. And that's about it. The Nilfgaard Knight can be alright just because he's a 12 power body, but besides that, I just keep these in. And we got Deathwind Arbalist, which we went over. He's one of the main points of the deck because it's all about spying, sort of. Then we got Infiltrator to toggle a unit spying status. Now toggle means that you can either turn it off or turn it on. So if your opponent has a spying unit on your side, you can toggle that spying unit on your side and make it so it's a normal unit and it's not spying anymore. Not that helpful in many cases, but it can be, so that's just something to keep in mind, that it doesn't just work one way. Then we got the Manicore Venom that every deck starts you with, deal 13 damage. It's a pretty crappy silver. One of the first ones I'd replace. That or Doo-Doo, because I mean it is removal though, which can be handy, so it's got that going for it. But that's about it, and there are lots of good silvers here that we could go over. Venomer, he's your mage for this deck, which if you saw the Scully Toll starter deck, mages are really important, so he's a good one because he has Shrike, which can deal 2 damage to 6 random enemies, makes him a 16 power card silver, much better than 13, and Clear Skies, which if you're getting harassed by weather, that'll take care of that. Then we got Doo-Doo, copy the power of an enemy. I keep this in over Commander's Horn because if your opponent ever plays anything over 15 power, it's stronger than Commander's Horn in its best day. So Doo-Doo is a lot easier to pull off and a lot easier to set up, so I'd run him over Commander's Horn, but he's definitely one of the ones you want to take out. And we got Vader Maker because we replaced him because you can use that weather sometimes, and Elzur's Thunder, always having a way to remove a unit is very useful, and most units that you want to remove are 9 power or less, so Elzur's Thunder usually takes care of them. Then we got Roach, which is actually a good card. Even though it's a 4 power silver, it seems like, why would I want to waste a silver slot on that? But it adds 4 power to your gold play, as long as it's in your deck, and it thins your deck by 1. So you gotta think of, like, it's basically as if you wouldn't have drawn this card anyway. So now you get +4 on it, on one of your gold plays. Now it won't trigger on Royal Decree, so if you play Royal Decree, your Roach will not come out of your deck. But if you play Ranfran, Triss, or Geralt Olivia, it will come out of your deck, and it has to be from your hand. That's why Royal Decree doesn't work. So just keep that in mind. Then we got Joam de Wit, Spying. He goes on the opponent's side, play the top non-spying bronze or silver unit from your deck and boost it by 10. This guy can be really good. He's actually really strong, and a lot of Nilfgaard decks usually run this guy because he's +5 technically on your play, whatever he gives you. So that can be crazy. Just be careful because they can grab you doo-doo from this deck. And if it buffs doo-doo up by 10, when you copy the power of an enemy, you won't get that on top of his buff. You'll just go to whatever you copied. So that's kind of an unfortunate thing that this deck has in it. But he also goes well with John Calvet because the leader, when you play him, you look at top 3 cards of your deck, then play one. Well, after you play that card, like, it'll show you 3 cards in a row, and those are the top 3 cards of your deck. So if you play the second one, then when you play Joam de Wit will grab you that first one it showed you, so you can better know what Joam de Wit's going to give you. Or if you want the second card, Joam de Wit, to grab you the second card, then you can pick the first card as an option and play it, and then Joam de Wit will give you the second card. So that's just a little tip about the deck. Then we got Cantarella, Spying, single use. Yes, we went over it. This is the trickiest card to get a hang of. Definitely one of the most useful cards in the game, though. So it's really hard it's hard sometimes for people to understand why it's good at first, but because you are giving them 13 power and you're not playing anything or giving yourself any power at the time. But it can give you card advantage. Since Gwent is a 3-round game, it can be really good to set yourself up in the last round instead of trying to win both rounds on your opponent. So then we got Royal Decree that every deck starts with. Play a gold unit from your deck and boost it by 2. This will grab you any of these golds. Just be careful that if you already played these golds or you have them in your hand, like you don't have any of these golds left in your deck, Royal Decree will be a dead card, so don't keep it in your hand because it will do absolutely nothing. Then we got Ranfran of Atri. Play a bronze or silver spying unit from your deck. We went over what he can grab you. So now, if you play Cantarella with him, then you technically gave your opponent 8 points instead of 13. So that's just something to keep in mind. And then we got Triss Marigold, deal 5 damage. Pretty bad card, along with Geralt Olivia, just because they're 15 power cards. Triss is slightly better because she does damage and has less power committed to herself, so you can avoid things like Scorch, destroy all the highest units, where Geralt is very vulnerable to that. Triss Marigold not so much, even though she gives you the same value. So these are your 2 cards that I take out first. Definitely Geralt first and then Triss. So the cards that you could take it out for that would be any good, or at least really good: Karher, which used to be your starter gold in this deck instead of Ranfran. He resurrects your leader. So if you use John Calvet in round 1, then you can use Karher in round 3 and bring him back out and use his ability again, which can be super strong. So if you pull the Karher, that's a good choice to go with. Then we got Geralt Igni. Destroy the highest units on a row. If that row equals 24 or 25 or more power, he's the first gold that I suggest everybody to craft because he's just useful in every deck, or can be at least. He's never a dead card. Like, you're never sad that you have him in your deck, unless somehow they don't have a row that's 25 or more power, though that's very rare. So he can just get you value in pretty much every deck. So if you ever are missing a gold for a certain deck, you can just replace that with Geralt and usually have some sort of success. So he's another one that you could replace him with. And then we got just a couple more that I'll go over that are really good. Like Triss Telekinesis is another really good card, pretty meta right now. and worth the craft. Create a bronze special card from either player's starting deck. Since you have a recon, you can play another recon with her. Then that doesn't use up the recon in your deck, it creates one. So it's like having an additional one, and plus you got the 6 power body gold on top of it. So then you get to play the 6 power body and look at the top 2 bronze cards and play one of them from your deck. So she's also another very useful target. Another good one, Menno, though he's Nilfgaard only. Deal 4 damage to an enemy if it's spying, destroyed instead. Well, you gave him a 13 power Cantarella, so if you play Menno after that, then you basically just took away the power that you gave them. So he can be really good for that. Or if they have a really high power unit on the field, you can play Infiltrator, make it spying, then play Menno and just kill it. So Menno's a decent one, not worth the craft because it's not as strong as he used to be, but if you do pull one, he's worth putting in. And then we got one of the best Nilfgaard cards, Vilgforts. Destroy an ally, then play the top card from your deck, or Truce, destroy an enemy, then your opponent draws and reveals a bronze card. You're usually always using this for the first ability. Destroy an ally, then play a top card from your deck. If you have like a 1 power ally out, or one of these Alba Pikemen, and you destroy it, it's going to remove it from the field, so give you -3 points, yes, but then it's going to play another card from your deck, which can be a gold, a silver, or a bronze, so he can chain into some really crazy things. The second ability, Truce, means that neither of you guys had to have passed for the round for this effect to go off. So you can destroy an enemy, but then your opponent draws their top bronze card, which gives them card advantage. Really not worth doing that unless it's like round 3 and they have some crazy super powerful card that's like 30 something points and you can't deal with it, and then maybe it's worth giving them the card advantage. But besides that, the first ability is really good, so he's worth putting him in for. The last one that I'll point out is Stefan Skolin can be really good, because he moves any card from your deck to the top. If it's a non-spying unit, boost it by 5. So you play him round 1 or 2, and then when you draw a card in round 2 or 3, he'll draw into the card that he put on top of the deck, and it'll have 5 more power. So you get to basically choose what you're going to draw into. So he can be really good for that. But that's about it for the deck. Going over the deck, we'll get into a couple games, and I'll just show you guys how you want to try to run this deck, and we'll see how we do, and I'll see you guys there. Alright, looks like for the first game we get to face a Skellige deck. Probably the Skellige starter deck, which they have high units, which is what like something like the Kavara Novice would be really useful. We can throw back an Alba Pikeman because we only want one of these in our hand, and this Roach because we want to bring that out by playing one of our golds. Now, this is a tricky mulligan actually, and I threw the Alba Pikeman back first because when you throw a card back, you're guaranteed to not see a copy of that card again through the rest of your mulligans, so it's best to throw those type cards back first. Now we do have Royal Decree in this deck, but we don't have it in our hands, so it would be risky to throw gold back, but now we are taking the risk if we don't to see that Royal Decree in a future moment. So I think we'll just keep with this, and actually we'll throw back Combat Engineer, and there's the Royal Decree. So now we have all golds and Royal Decree. So Royal Decree is a dead card in our hand, and we might try to hold on to 1 gold so that way we can try to do something with that later. We're going to open up with Alba Pikemen just to get them out of our deck so we don't draw into them at least. Then we'll probably play a single gold. I want to hold on to 1 so this Royal Decree is not dead to me. Oh, looks like this might actually be a meta Skellige deck. Probably Marauders, which actually, judging by the border he hasn't played in a while. But yeah, this is probably a meta deck, so this will actually be a good test. We'll do Triss Marigold and we'll do 5 damage to that, which will bring Roach out of our deck. Now going first is usually a bad thing, since you're automatically 1 card down. Like if he passed here, I'd have the round, yes, but then I'd be a card down. And now, so we played Cleaver. We could just get this Emissary going.
Please wait, Your Excellency.
And it looks like we're going with Combat Engineer because there's not much point to playing this guy yet. Just play the Combat Engineer. We'll buff this up by 5. Now, Cleaver is a pretty cool card, but actually now I'm not so sure this is starter. No, okay. This is not the meta deck. So, we do want to get some of our spying units going. I'll try to pull like an infiltrator or something with John Calvet now. There we go, an infiltrator. That works out. So we can make
then by stealth.
This guy spying. Then we can kill it. The Deathween Herbalist. Probably horribly pronouncing this card, but it's what the plan is to do with its effect. Not sure what this guy has in his deck. Looks like he edited his starter deck a little bit, which is usually pretty cool to get the hang of the game and stuff. Ornamental Sword, that's a pretty cool card, but it can hurt you a lot of times. Not be worth the value. Let's see, pulls a Joanna here. That'd be pretty annoying. Cause oh, a Dijkstra. Now, if he has a Sigdrifa, that's gonna be a problem. Hopefully he doesn't. We're gonna play an Arbalest, because Sigdrifa will let him re-res that, basically giving him a 20-point play. Which will be really hard to deal with. Now if you lose round 1, it's usually best to throw your Cantarella back. Oh, it looks like he does have Sigdrifa because he's strengthening that up. He wants to use that. We'll try our luck with Joam de Witt. Nah. Narbalist, not too bad. So, we'll have Doo-Doo, so maybe we'll draw into Doo-Doo. Not a guaranteed yet, but if we get Doo-Doo, we can copy the power of this card, which might actually help us. Elzer's Double Cross, he's going to grab the highest unit from his deck. Might as well Manticore Venom that. Of course, then he can Priest of Freya it. Running out of cards that I want to play here. I think I'll only drop 2 more cards. Try this Manticore Venom, see if he uses Priest of Freya. Basically gonna make him a 13. Actually, it'll minus 1 point from it, so that wouldn't be too bad. Because it'll be 12 points since it hurts itself by 1. There we go, he gave up, so passes. And we go into round 2 with 1 less card than him, since we went first. But we can throw a gold back now. I think I'm going to throw back Geralt. Because then I can Royal Decree him out. So we'll start off with Cantarella.
I shall be your eyes.
We'll take the Infiltrator because I want Geralt to be in my deck. So Royal Decree is a better card. Well, he played that, so we'll play this Arbalest.
Your life is mine now.
To get the most value out of it right now. Did 6 damage to it. Now if we had that Nausicaa Brigade that I was talking about, we could make a 16 power bronze play. But doesn't seem like that's happening since we don't have that card. So we're gonna play Combat Engineer next. I'm just gonna try to get rid of some low cards here. And hope to draw into Doo-Doo in the last round. Ah, you went with that plan. That's not too bad. We're gonna recon. I'm gonna take the Infiltrator.
No door is closed.
Just because that's my last spying unit, so if I played that spying unit, Ranfran would grab me nothing. So we'll probably play Ranfran next, then maybe pass. See what we end up getting from our emissary. This will thin our deck out more. Here's our other Combat Engineer. Our last bronze card, it looks like. So we have a pretty high chance of seeing Doo-Doo now, because we have 3 cards left in our deck. So we'll actually play this Infiltrator now, and we'll make this guy spying. See what that last card is. Ah, Commander's Horn. Well, we might be able to 2-0 this guy with the Royal Decree, so we're going to try to go for that. I'm going to pull that Geralt out of our deck.
Gotta hand it to you. Good
Because if he
work.
can't do decent play here, he's going to lose. And it's probably just going to be King Bronn into the cards that res when he discards them. Yep. So now we go into top deck mode. If we get a doo-doo, we can guarantee the tie. Well, now, because if he draws a Priest of Frey or something. What's our last card, actually, besides doo-doo? Let me see. Hide cards. It is not a gold. It's not a bronze, it's a silver. Oh, it's Vader Maker. So we're going to throw this back, actually, since he goes first. And then this will be a 13 power card.
I can help you.
Which looks like we'll pull off the win here with him. Instead of the tie, which is a little bit better. So, play Vader Maker, play Azur's Thunder, and we'll take the first round. Well, the first game. So, this is why ranked is easier, because you're facing other people with decks that are more towards what you use. So, that's game 1. We'll get into the next one now, and I'll see you guys there. Alright, game 2, another John Calvet.
I shall not.
Now this guy may have edited his deck to make it slightly better, but we'll see. We're going to throw back an Alba Pikeman. And Combat Engineer. Okay, now we got this guy, so I'll throw back an Emissary. Ooh, Royal Decree. So we're probably going to open with Alba Pikeman, and we didn't go first this time. That's something pretty good. Now we'll see what he's going with, because if he's going with a normal starter deck, then holding on, nope, he's got Combat Engineers. Or Slave Drivers. Slave Drivers are really good. So we'll play our Alba Pikemen, them out. I doubt this is a meta deck. Usually you won't start counting them until like rank 11, rank 12, probably. Another Combat Engineer. See, like if we had Geralt Igni, and he has one more point on that row, we could get like a 24 point Geralt Igni, which is why I really like him. So we'll just go with an Infiltrator and
then by
make this guy spying. So we can hit it with a Deathwind. Oh, he's going Joam de Wit. It's a pretty big card for him to play, so that'll be good that we won't have to deal with that at a later time. Create a random soldier. Not too bad. Now we gotta be careful, because if we play this here, this is going to do 6 damage, so that's 13. It's going to put us at 37, so then we need a 10-point play after that to win. Because you never want to go like 2 cards down to win a round. So since we can win this in 1 more card, we'll just play him, just to keep ourselves in the game.
Damn it.
We're going to copy that play actually, to get Roach out of our deck.
Damn it.
Now this is just habit of mine, is to try to keep my rows above certain power. So, now that he passed us, we don't have any spying units on his side, so that won't work so well. We need 10 points. Could just use Vader Maker. I don't want to use any of these big cards yet. We'll just use the Vader Maker.
Now,
We'll play Elzer's Thunder.
go.
Now we get to hold on to our Joam de Wit for the last round, which can be really good, and we have our Ranfarn. So I plan on grabbing our Disloyal unit with Ranfarn, just in case he has his... Well, we drew our Disloyal unit, that's fortunate. We're going to throw that back. Okay, doo-doo. So let's play Ranfarn. We'll grab Cantarella.
I shall be your eyes.
And we'll take Infiltrator. Actually, how many cards do we have left?
Bad at all.
We could just go for the Recon to thin our deck more. So now we can use Doo-Doo to copy that 13 power card too, which can be helpful. And now Joam de Wit won't grab us Doo-Doo, which can be really good. So now he has to keep playing, so now we can go into the last round on even cards, and I can bleed him out some this round. Save my Royal Decree and Joam de Wit. It's the last two cards I'm going to play, I think. Maybe my leader too. Because that's a pretty strong 3-card combo there. Azari gets to shovel 2 cards back into their deck, so we can target our deck with that too. I'm gonna actually not hurt this guy yet, because I want to keep that there just in case Doo-Doo 13 power might be the best target for him. We'll have to wait and find out. Did he shuffle Joam de Wit in his deck? Yes, he did.
Sons of Nilfgaard!
So he does have the possibility of replaying that now. Venomer, there's a good card. So we're gonna play our emissary. Why not play a second emissary too to thin our deck some more? We'll grab the infiltrator and we'll make this spying. Now we have a different target for our Deathween Arbalist. That grabs a random item from his deck. Ointment for a Slave Driver. Now that's a crazy combo that's really good in the meta deck Alchemy. They use Ointment and they re-res their cards. It gets pretty ridiculous. So we're going to play our Arbalist, deal 6 damage to that. Then we'll play Recon and Doo-Doo and pass.
Fight for the Emperor and you might be freed.
Did he just poultice again? Yeah, he did. It's a good combo. Alright, let's Recon. I think I like playing this guy more now because we don't have any more ways to make spying units except for Infiltrator. So if I draw into this, it'd be 11 power at least.
Life is mine now.
I'm gonna hurt this again and miss out on 1 point, but I want to play this Doo-Doo. Actually, I might hold on to Doo-Doo because he might have Joam de Wit. And then we could just copy the power of whatever he draws. So I think we'll take this hand into the last round. Since we have final say, we'll be able to copy his highest unit with Doo-Doo. That'll probably be our final play. Now is that my last gold? I think that's my last gold, right? Yes. So I want to definitely throw this back so Royal Decree is not dead in my hand.
I will not let this
Triss Telekinesis, great card. It's probably going to play an Ointment. Yep. It's a pretty killer combo. As you can tell, this is the idea behind Alchemy Nilfgaard right there. So we'll play... could just bring out the... we'll play Joam de Wit. And we'll make this spying, I guess. 20 points to 27, not too bad. Oh, this might be soldier buffing, in which case we're probably going to lose. So we're gonna Royal Decree out Triss Marigold,
I'll do what I
because
can.
he's gonna spawn a bunch of these and then buff them with sentries. And we're gonna lose. Just in case it's not, I wanted to kill the 5 power. Looks like it definitely is though, because he's playing a lot of those. Which is going to be a huge point spike here. We're going to play Combat Engineer, but we can't really keep up with that point spike anyway.
Bet this'll come as a surprise.
Doesn't really come as a surprise, that's what I was saying that you had the whole time. If we had Igni.
I shall not.
Pretty crazy. Ooh, Mana Core Venom or Combat Engineer? Combat Engineer. So he's going to get another huge boost. If he has another sentry in his hand, then we lose. Looks like he does, yep. So if we had to draw Igni here, it'd be pretty much over, but we don't. We have a doo-doo. Because we're using the starter deck, but that's alright. That didn't work out too bad. I saw it coming, but we couldn't really stop it anyway with our cards. We don't have any really lacerate or anything to deal with those, so that's alright. But that's that game. Let's get into the last one and see. We lost 1 point from that, and we gained like 56 when we won. That's why playing ranked is worth it. Even if you lose, you don't go nowhere. Like, you can only go up for a while. So let's get into the next one. Alright, Broker Hoog.
Onward, sons of
This guy's level
Nilfgaard!
22. He might have some decent cards by now. Let's throw back Elba Pikeman. Since they love starting me with 2 of those, it's definitely a mulligan. The first mulligan I want to do. Throw back a Combat Engineer. And an Infiltrator for now, I guess. But do we have all our disloyal units? No, we don't. We don't have Emissaries, so... I mean, Joam de Wit. I'm gonna open up with Elba Pikeman.
Yes.
Now, this is normal dwarfs when he plays his 9 power unit or 8 power unit, depending on if he drops the other guy first. Then we're gonna kill it with Vader Maker. This is some weird deck. He's running Chort. This thing turns into a 14 power Chort when it dies, so just don't kill it. You should be fine. Play Combat Engineer next. Ooh, Ambush. Now this is an interesting thing in Gwent, which we did not have to go over yet. Ambush cards are face down. You want to try to learn what those ones are because you don't know what it is. Could be a Morin or something that flips over and does 8 damage to the first unit you play, or it could be a Torval, which buffs 2 units on either side by 2. There's a couple different cards it could be, and it's gonna be pretty catch you off guard. Yep, it was a Morin. Which that didn't work out too bad actually, because now he basically played an 8 power unit. Ooh, Fog. I don't really need to respond with the weather, but I can Infiltrator this so we can do a lot of damage to it. Ooh, Super Weather he's going for. Now this is why Clear Skies and stuff is good sometimes, like the mage that I was talking about who has Clear Skies. We could clear this all out so we're not taking damage, and then buff these guys by 2, but we can't do that because we do not have him in this deck.
Life is mine now.
We're going to do 6 damage to her. And since they don't start you with him, I didn't want to really put him in here like I did with Vader Maker, because that is a card that they start you with in this game. Whoa. Losing mouse control. That's no good. Uh-oh. Please work. Well. I have to replace my battery, so we're gonna rush. Oh no, no. Oh, that's a discard card. Oh, and it's our gold. Just have to redo this one. Actually passed us back, so that's not so bad. There we go. Okay. We'll take that, actually. I mean, we lost our Ranfran, but he gave us a round win, so that's alright. We'll keep this. So now we'll play our disloyal unit.
I shall be your eyes, my lord.
I do have Geralt, so I will actually grab that Royal Decree. That was a bad time for the mouse to die. But now, we're back to even on cards, so we can save our leader for the last round, most likely. Just looks like what he's trying to do. Now he has 28 cards, so normally it's better just to keep your deck at a lower amount. I'm gonna play Emissary for now.
Shame I have no time.
Grab that Infiltrator.
If not by
Make him
strength,
spying.
then by stealth.
I'm thinking about just holding on to maybe these 3 cards. Play Combat Engineer.
Barbarians.
Because I can pull Roach out of my deck, but the thing is now, if we draw into Geralt and then I throw him back and then we see Roach after that, we'd be in a pretty bad spot. I think we'll play Vader Maker for now, though.
Now, how did that incantation
Then I'll
go?
decide if I want to drop Triss Mariold or not.
Your breath will avenge us, Dwan!
Now we played this row. This would be better to put on this row, since when it blows up it's going to do 2 damage to everything on the row. There's 2 units here, there's only 1 unit here. I think we'll just keep this, because these are really strong cards right here, and if we get to pull the Roach with this too, that'll be amazing. Now, this is a risky play, because if I draw into Roach and then I throw Roach back and I see Geralt, I'm gonna have a dead card in my hand. So if we see neither of them, we'll just keep whatever it gives us. Okay, there's the Geralt, don't give me Roach. Okay, Manicore Venom, thank you. At least it's not Roach. So he's gonna start with his leader, maybe? Yep. This lets him look for any silver card or a bronze dwarf in his deck. So it doesn't have to be a silver dwarf, it can be any silver unit. So like if they somehow were able to have Joam DeWitt in their deck, he could just grab Joam DeWitt with his leader.
We've hammered enough. Let's get to work.
He moved it over. He buffed it. So we're gonna do
How can
5
I-
damage to him. Get Roach out of our deck. Put us back in the lead. Want to keep his highest unit alive because Mana Core Venom is going to give us the most value then. So next we'll Royal Decree. Grab Geralt of Rivia.
Let's get this over with.
Then I'll probably use John Calvet to see what Joam DeWitt's going to give me. Because if I play Joam DeWitt and he grabs me Doo-Doo,
This is Elven
be very
land,
bad.
Dwan, upon which your kind dies.
I just move them all to one row. That's interesting.
I forgive
John Calvet. See, if I played John Calvet before, I mean Joam DeWitt before that, he would have grabbed me Doo-Doo, and we would have been in big trouble. So I think I'm gonna go for the Recon, and we'll take the Combat Engineer.
I warned you.
I just did a big misplay. Don't listen to me. Oh my! Doo-Doo's still the top card of our deck. We're gonna Mana Core Venom this, which we might not even need this card. Actually, we don't, because we're guaranteed the win. So as I was trying to explain to you guys, that whole point of not doing that. Yep. So we still win. We're not playing Joam DeWitt. And yeah, we'll take that. I should have grabbed Doo-Doo with John Calvet. That's what I was supposed to do, because that would have made it that way my next card was the Arbalist, and then Joam DeWitt would grab me the Arbalist instead of Doo-Doo. So that's it for that one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed and helped you learn a bit about the Nilfgaard deck. So the last game definitely really wonky, but the first two were good, I think. So there's that, and I hope you guys enjoyed and have a good one. Till then, till next time, see ya.